Sean, the Israeli leadership have been in a bunker deciding how to respond to the attack by Iran. Are we getting any closer to understanding what they're about to do, if anything?
One of the things that feels the readout we are getting is they want to do something. There are enough hardliners there that believe that reputation in the Middle East is all about power. And if you take a strike like they have taken and don't do anything, that is a show of weakness. There's also a view, and we can get on to that, is that Israel thinks Iran is pure evil and that sooner or later the world is going to have to wake up and deal with Iran. And if they're prepared to launch 331 missiles, surely now's the time. What is being interesting, though, to counter that, the huge diplomatic efforts going on, our own British Prime Minister has been urging caution, sit on our hands. The US has been saying, there's no need to retaliate again. You've succeeded. So diplomatic efforts, there's sanctions, so further sanctions against Iran, although the cynics would say that hasn't really proved to be that effective up till now. Is that an overt sign to Iranians and to Israelis that the balance of power is appropriate? So if you go down to three options now for the military, you either don't do anything, and we just talked that one through. I think it's unlikely. The other end of the spectrum is you launch an equivalent attack.
What, you mean another 331 missiles?
Yeah. But you launch them against military sites so that you minimize civilian casualties, that you launch them against the full spectrum of airfields, training facilities, military deployed equipment, radars, surface-to-air missile systems, headquarters, and you potentially also Iranians' nuclear capability, because the argument is that if they're prepared to launch this many missiles and they haven't got a nuclear weapon, what on earth would they do if they had a nuclear weapon? So you've got to stop them doing that. Again, I think that's unlikely, because that would be a trigger for a regional war. There's no doubt about it. Iran would have no alternative but to throw everything at it. The middle ground, the sort of Goldilocks solution, not too big, not too small, something in the middle, feels like a measured attack, potentially not onto Iranian soil, potentially against one of the Iranian proxy groups, potentially in Syria, that's not in a populated area, that's targeting specific leadership or capability, driven by US and Israeli intelligence, so that Netanyahu has the last word, but Iran can sort of deny that it's ever happened, and that therefore for each of the audiences allow both of them to walk away. But as ever, the risk of unintended consequences of these sorts of things is huge.
It doesn't sound like Netanyahu to do something just for the sake of doing it, which doesn't have any strategic value, does it? So, although the last one sounds the safest for us, it doesn't sound like it actually does much for Israel.
No, but again, if we go a layer below this, so one of the questions, rhetorical, is how reliant on America was Israel for repelling those 331 missiles? So America will turn around and say, okay, you might have provoked Iran into doing that. Iran has said, that's it. We were happy to protect you on this occasion, but if you now escalate, we can't be responsible. We can't help you in that, and we can't be responsible for the consequences of that. Now, in reality, would America abandon Israel? Almost certainly not. But I think there's some powerful diplomatic language, potentially behind closed doors, that America can use, because America does not want to see an escalation. So it'll be a real test, I suspect, of Biden's influence over Netanyahu and how much of a compromise that Netanyahu is prepared to make.